Okay, everybody. So, The Equalizer Part 3 dropped this past weekend. I went to go see it on Friday. Fantastic film. It is the #1 movie in America. Um, just great stuff. Denzel Washington just gets it right every time. Directed by Antoine Fuqua, coming back with the same director, the same star. This Robert McCall character from the original, which was just a fantastic film. I remember this show that my parents watched back in the 80s with Edward Woodward. He was the Equalizer. This was a television series. And so I didn't think much of it when I heard that it was going to be a movie, but then I heard Denzel Washington is starring in it. So, yeah, there you go. Also now Part 2. So, I've been a fan from the get-go. So when Part 3 came out, there I was, not disappointed at all. Again, $68 million, I think, worldwide as of today. And I think it's the most consistently successful franchise in history. Over 3 movies, beating out the previous winner, which was the Ocean's trilogy. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. It seems that it would be funny to create a action series around Denzel Washington. I mean, the guy's like top tier actor, not just action star. So, I mean, you could have somebody like Jason Statham take a role like this, and it's when you sort of look at the premise of the retired CIA guy, just wanting to live in peace, and they won't let him, and he has to be who he used to be. It could easily be a Statham or anybody from the Expendables list. It could be a Steven Seagal thing. And no one would blink. But the fact that you've added Denzel Washington to this adds something. I mean, it adds top tier performance, and you can't beat that. You just can't. And it reminded me of another movie that I felt the same way about years ago, Taken, with Liam Neeson. Now, this is the story again of another ex-CIA guy trying to live a quiet life. And in the first movie, they kidnap his daughter, and he's forced to become who he used to be. And I said at that time, that could have easily been a Jason Statham movie. It could have been a Van Damme movie. I don't know who was popular in 2008. It could have been a Steven Seagal movie. But the fact that they got Liam Neeson to play the role, and a really great director, Luc Besson, added something, added the same thing that Denzel Washington adds to the Equalizer, gravitas. The difference between the two, though, is that the Equalizer has remained consistently successful. And somebody touched on that in an article from Collider, and that's kind of what I want to talk about. And it says, Denzel Washington has the action legacy Liam Neeson wanted. And it said, unlike Neeson, Washington chose quantity over quality. And for some reason, Liam Neeson is still making these sort of B-action movies. I have no idea. He's one of the greatest actors of our time, but he's sort of fallen off into this hole of, B-action. And, Liam Neeson needs great stories to be himself. One of my favorite Liam Neeson films, even as a supporting actor, is in Kingdom of Heaven, where he plays Godfrey, the father of Balian, in just that maybe first 60 minutes of the film. Because if you watch the director's cut, and I've had people say this before, that Kingdom of Heaven is just a boring, convoluted mess, but Kingdom of Heaven director's cut is Ridley Scott's best film. And if you watch that first 60 minutes of the director's cut, he's just mesmerizing. He can still do it, but for some reason he's gotten into these action films. So let's get into this. This is by Liam Gauguin from yesterday. The big picture: Denzel Washington's transition into action films was seen as a natural progression in his career, even though Denzel Washington is probably close to 70, given his previous success as a dramatic actor. Liam Neeson's move into action felt like a desperate attempt to remain relevant after a series of misfires in his filmography. Okay, well, let's see about that. Washington has maintained a balance between action and dramatic projects, while Neeson has primarily focused on action films, resulting in a lack of consistent quality in his filmography. Now, that last part I agree with. I think he desperately needs to just get back into acting. Top-tier stuff, great scripts, great directors. I mean, Liam Neeson was Oscar Schindler on top of a million other things. I mean, yeah, I have no idea why he's still making these movies. So here, let's get into the article. Although the action genre is traditionally associated with younger stars who are at the peak of their physicality, you think of somebody like Hemsworth or Dave Bautista or The Rock, these sorts of guys, the most successful action films of the 21st century have been those that feature older heroes. Movie stars like Tom Cruise, got it right there. Keanu Reeves, got it right there. Charlize Theron, yep. And Harrison Ford have dominated the action genre despite being slightly past their prime. Two stars who have dominated action cinema this century are Denzel Washington and Liam Neeson. And their career arcs are very similar. Both actors first established themselves in the late 1980s as sensitive, bold, dramatic actors and earned a series of accolades for their success. It was surprising to see someone like Washington, who is more closely associated with more grounded films. I mean, the guy does cinema. Take on an epic action film at a late stage in his career when he starred in 2004's Man on Fire, which is my all-time favorite Denzel Washington film. There's never going to be another one like that. Likewise, Liam Neeson caught viewers by surprise when he popped up as an aging hero in 2008's Taken. Despite following similar trajectories, Washington has consistently shown better judgment than Neeson in choosing his action roles. Denzel Washington still makes dramas, while Liam Neeson relies on action films. Washington is better suited to venture into action films because he has already peaked in his abilities as a dramatic star. Washington already had 2 Academy Award wins under his belt thanks to Glory and Training Day. And his performance as the titular civil rights icon in Spike Lee's 1992 masterpiece, Malcolm X, has been hailed as one of the greatest performances of all time. I still say that Malcolm X is a perfect film. It's just unrelentingly bleak. Seeing him try out the action genre felt like Washington was simply trying his hand at something that he hadn't done before. Man on Fire had a level of prestige to it. It felt like a big deal that such a seasoned dramatic actor was taking a chance on a wild Tony Scott revenge thriller. I love that fucking movie. Comparatively, Neeson's transition into action film felt like a last-ditch attempt to remain relevant. Although he had starred in a series of strong dramatic films like Kinsey, Breakfast on Pluto, Batman Begins, and Kingdom of Heaven in the early 21st century, Neeson's filmography at the time of Taken's initial release was dominated by unmemorable supporting performances in franchise films. I'd like to see the list of that. Taken was Neeson's first true success after a series of misfires and his complete transition into making Taken sequels and ripoffs in its aftermath felt like a move of desperation to salvage his career. I'd be curious. I'm trying to think. I mean, I know he was in The Phantom Menace, and that didn't get raves. But now that I mean, he did that movie. He had that supporting role in what's the Christmas movie? Love Actually. I loved him in that. I can't think of too many that were that awful, but okay. Washington, but to me, it's more that he has not gone back into dramatic roles. He seems stuck in this action thing, and it's not working. And they are taken sort of knockoffs. I love that movie that he did, The Gray. We covered that on the channel, and look for the video here on the channel. I thought it's just a fantastic, although unrelentingly bleak action flick. Washington has also not retired the dramatic chops that made him so well known in the first place. Yes, now this is where the separation occurs for me. He hasn't limited himself to action cinema in the wake of Man on Fire's success. Washington has still been delivering incredible dramatic performances like American Gangster, Flight, Fences, Roman J. Israel, Esquire, and The Tragedy of Macbeth in recent years. And I never got around to seeing that because I didn't keep Apple TV long enough. Comparatively, Neeson has almost completely abandoned anything that isn't either a direct continuation or at least inspired by Taken. He'll occasionally pop up for supporting roles in ensemble pieces like Widows and The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. But the majority of Neeson's recent filmography has been action-centric. So let's see. Washington hasn't appeared in nearly as many action films as Neeson has, but that's because he's simply been more picky. While not every action film that he's done has been as great as Man on Fire or Inside Man, and I love Inside Man. I also own a copy of that, another Spike Lee joint, maybe my second favorite Spike Lee joint. Washington affords himself the opportunity to try something new with each role. He was to become a young mentor when he appeared in, he was able to become a young mentor, to mentor a younger star, when he appeared in Tony Scott's Unstoppable alongside Chris Pine, and it felt like a transitional moment of one great action star passing the baton to a new generation. The Magnificent Seven and the Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 aren't particularly memorable remakes, but they showed that Washington was challenging himself by taking on roles that other actors had already made iconic. Even the largely forgettable Two Guns allowed Washington the chance to show his comedic side for the first time in decades. Comparatively, Neeson's action films have been largely indistinguishable. He gives almost identical performances in films like Memory, Blacklight, The Marksman, Honest Thief, and Cold Pursuit, and the films themselves aren't different enough for that to even matter. Neeson has diluted the appeal of his star power by constantly appearing in such forgettable projects, and the decisions he's made in between them have been borderline disastrous. While Washington had a few misfires like The Little Things on his resume, he's never made anything quite as critically panned as A Million Ways to Die in the West, Men in Black International, of Daddy's Home 2. Viewers can expect that if they show up to see Washington, they can at least expect a consistent level of quality. And also, Denzel Washington works with great directors. Both Washington and Neeson have worked with established directors over a series of films. However, Washington's collaborators have been largely auteur filmmakers who have a very distinguished style throughout all of their projects. Deja Vu may not be one of Scott's best, but he still makes decisions within the film that feel exclusive to his work. In the wake of Scott's passing, Washington has done several action films with his training day director, Antoine Fuqua. While Fuqua and Washington have made a few duds together, even a film as bland as The Magnificent Seven incorporates the type of political commentary and realism that Fuqua is known for. Neeson's frequent collaborations simply haven't challenged him enough. I agree with this. He's cutting himself short. He and director Jean-Colette Serra worked together on Unknown, Nonstop, Run All Night, and The Commuter. And I have no idea what these movies are, like the Neeson movies. All of the Washington movies I recognize and I like them. If I saw them, there are a couple here I didn't see, like Deja Vu. But these Liam Neeson movies, I don't know them at all of which have similar, quote, ordinary man caught in extreme circumstances, end quote, style premises. The differences between them couldn't be more evident in 2023. Neeson's latest action film, Retribution, seemingly disappeared without a trace after bombing at the box office, but Washington's latest action thriller, The Equalizer 3, has already benefited from strong word of mouth and positive review from critics. And this viewer right here, Neeson chooses quantity, where Washington chooses quality, and audiences are beginning to pick up on it. While the majority of Neeson's action roles have been forgotten already, Washington's transition into action cinema feels like just another great achievement to put on his resume. He has earned the action legacy that Neeson so desperately wants. They're not wrong. They're not wrong. So if by chance Liam Neeson ever sees this, go back and start doing some serious acting again. And maybe he's having fun. I don't know. Maybe he's having fun. He doesn't care. He's like, look, I got enough money now. I never need to worry about things again. I'm just going to keep doing what I want to do. But, you know, at the same time, you know, you would think you would want people to enjoy your work. So my advice, get back to some more serious acting. I'm sure Denzel is going to be fine. Okay, that's my video. Let me know what you think. Do you agree? Are you a fan of Neeson's work? What do you think of The Equalizer? Does Liam Neeson need to get back on track? and start making some more serious films, or should he just continue doing what he's doing if that makes him happy? I haven't heard him say anything in quite a while about it. Let me know what you think. Like this video, leave a comment. One word comment is fine. And subscribe to the channel. Okay, we will see you in the next video. Have a good one, everybody.